First topic of the day, boys. We're going to talk about Ubisoft and we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, we have two different topics related to Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows. Both of them are very important and both of them are interesting for two different reasons, okay? The first one is going to be about what I mentioned earlier in the stream. When I read this article, it blew my mind. And again, I would not have believed that this was true unless, the only reason why I believe it to be true is because it is true. It came from a Ubisoft executive's mouth. If it didn't come from the executive, I would not have believed it. If I saw this random, title going around on Twitter, I wouldn't have believed it right away. I would have looked into it a little bit more. But Ubisoft executive says that Assassin's Creed Shadows developers think it's the worst thing they've ever seen. Not only do they think it's the worst thing they've ever seen, but apparently most of the team, a little bit more than half of the team, is brand new and have never worked on a video game before. This is absolutely fucking insane. How is it that you have a AAA game like Assassin's Creed and supposedly Assassin's Creed Shadows is supposed to be the biggest Assassin's Creed ever? You have the biggest Assassin's Creed ever and half of your team have never even worked on the fucking game? I'm telling you, this thing blew my mind. So again, let's just read it. Because again, I can't even thinking about it now, I can't believe it. Ubisoft's executive producer for its Assassin's Creed franchise, Mark Alexis Cote, shared that a number of the developers on Assassin's Creed Shadows believe that the game is the worst thing that they've ever seen. During the QA portion of the interview, he also revealed that many of the people working at Ubisoft on the Assassin's Creed franchise have no experience with the franchise. Okay, number one, no experience with the franchise. Okay, that's bad, right? That's bad. That's bad. I really don't know how else to say. That's really bad. If many of the people working on the biggest Assassin's Creed ever don't have any experience working on the franchise, that's bad. But I would say as long as they have experience working on AAA games, then at least there might be some hope, right? There will be at least a little bit of hope. So I thought maybe this will be the end of it, right? I'm thinking maybe this is the end. It's not the end. It gets worse. He said, one of the things that I've noticed since the pandemic is that we have a lot of juniors in our teams. Probably half of the team that's building Assassin's Creed is building a game for the first time. What the fuck?
Holy shit.
I'm reading this and I'm like, wait a second. Hold on. So, okay, you don't have experience with the franchise. That's one thing, right? That's one thing. But half of the team has never built a game at all? What the fuck? How is nobody talking about this? How is nobody reporting this? Is crazy to me. Aside from, John F. Trent over at Fandom Pulse, shout out to him. But in terms of YouTubers, I haven't seen anybody talking about it. I'm sure they will within the next 24 hours. But that's horrible. That's horrible. What the fuck is this? This is supposed to be your biggest Assassin's Creed ever. Ever. And half of the people working on it have never built a game before, ever? Are you serious right now? Bro, I don't know. I'm just saying, I think that's a little bit insane. I wish I could say that I'm shocked by this. And I am shocked by this to an extent, right? How can you not be? But at the end of the day, you can't be surprised by it either. And you know what? It makes me wonder about Star Wars Outlaws. Because Assassin's Creed Shadows got delayed because of what they supposedly learned from Star Wars Outlaws. It makes me wonder, is it the same thing for Outlaws too? Was half of the team never making a game before? Because look how shitty that game was. Look how buggy and terrible that game was. So if that is an example of their work, I can only imagine what's going to happen with Assassin's Creed Shadows. I mean, you got to be shitting me here. I can understand making your developers who never worked on a game before, making them work on something that's a smaller project, a smaller scale. Maybe you have a little bit of a smaller title that you're coming out with. Maybe you can make them work on Prince of Persia or something like that. Whatever. But bro, half of your team on the AAA game of your studio, aside from the Far Cry series, that's insane, bro. I'm sorry, it's insane. But it starts to really make everything make sense. Now we can understand why there was Chinese architecture in the game, right? Now we can understand why there was Chinese subtitles on the Japanese trailer. Now we can understand why they decided to go with Yasuke to represent all of Japan. Now we can understand. Now the picture has been fully painted. And it's because half of the team doesn't have a clue about what the fuck they're doing. It's insanity to me. So anyway, so they don't know. He continued. And again, to say they don't know, bro, you hired them and you hired them with no experience. You hired them with no experience to work on Assassin's Creed, and you're saying they don't know any better? You clearly didn't know any better. And then he continued, even though they're playing the game right now and they think it's the worst thing they've ever seen, it's going to be good. We're going to get there. Wait a second. So hold on. So the people who have never worked on the game before, they think that the Assassin's Creed Shadows is the worst thing they've ever seen? I feel like that's really telling. I don't know about you. I don't know about you guys. I feel like that's very, very telling. Something is off here. Because even if they think the game is the worst they've ever seen, that's not good. That's a bad. Why are you admitting any of this? Do you guys not have interview training? As an executive for Ubisoft, why would you think that it's beneficial for you to sit there and admit that your team is half new, their team has never worked on a game before, and then to sit there and say that your team hates the fucking game that they're working on? Why would you admit any of this? I mean, you got to be delusional or like crazy. I don't really know. I don't understand. I'm telling you, reading this blew my mind. It blew my fucking mind. He then elaborated, I've been there. I remember my first time on Assassin's Creed, like it was July, and the game was shipping in October. I was like, there's no way that this ends up shipping. Oh, 91 Metacritic? Oh, okay. This is good. So I was wrong because it's not good until it is. Bro, all this admits, this right here, this last line, oh, 91 Metacritic, okay, so this is good. All this admits is that this is one big circle jerk. This is one big circle jerk. And we already knew this, right? The games journalists, the mainstream industry, it's all one big circle jerk where they're trying to basically pad each other. So the developers only listen to the urinalists. The urinalists need the access and the free stuff from the developers. So what they do is developer puts out shitty product, urinalist says it's amazing, gives it a 91 on Metacritic, and the developers use that score as a means to justify themselves. And then it just keeps going over and over and over again. This is literal toxic positivity. If your own developers say that the game is shit, and all you care about is what score you get from a journalist website, I think that's insane. It's one big scam. Exactly, Jeremiah. You're right in the chat. It's one big scam. All of this is a big scam. So then it says, Kote's comments come in the wake of Ubisoft delaying the game, which, again, we already know. And, guys, this is a video that we could watch, but I really don't give a fuck to watch it, to be honest with you, because this is all I need to know. This is all I need to know. Sure, I could watch the rest of the video, but damn. The fact that you're admitting this just explains all of it. All of it. All the questions that we've had about Assassin's Creed Shadows, it explains all of it. In my opinion, anyway. But it does. So then now it begs the question, okay, here's what we know. Ubisoft is taking another 6 months to further develop Assassin's Creed Shadows. Ubisoft is spending $20 million for 6 months of development, further development on Assassin's Creed Shadows. So then the question becomes, what exactly are they doing to fix it? Because if you have a team that's halfway brand new, that have never worked on a game before, what exactly are you spending that $20 million to fix? Is it bugs? Is it changing up the story a little bit? A lot of people are starting to say that it's going to be a little bit of a story change, where it's going to take away the spotlight from Yasuke, focus it more on Naoe, or at least try to make it a little bit more balanced. But I got to be honest with you, I don't see how this is possible. Actually, it's more money. Will of the Fans is right. It's more money because it's 20 million euros. So that's even more money in USD. It's so disgusting when you think about it.